Welcome in for another episode of What's New Wednesday. Lots has happened as usual the past week. Token price pumped all the way up to 60 cents for a second there. Big Time released the AMA that I mentioned recently in a Medium article. Big Time brought back something called the Cosmetic High Roller event. We're going to talk about that. That happened over the weekend. And they introduced craftable decorations now you can craft. So that's something we got to talk about. And then the weekly crafting event this week is insane. We're going to talk about why. Finally, we're going to talk about the midweek madness event this week. Wasn't as much of a screw you as it was last week, so that's good to see. So we'll jump right into it and we'll start talking about the token price first off. Last week, I kind of just expected it to range between 40 and 45, maybe 50 cents. But I actually did not expect, because we had double leaderboard point for the lunar crafting event, double leaderboard points for the shield crafting event. I didn't expect to see double leaderboard points coming back this past week, and it did. So you'll see that March the 1st is when it was announced. Boom, March 1st, double leaderboard point is announced. People need those big time tokens because they want to be competing in the top echelons of the leaderboard. And we kind of saw like an instant pump. By the 3rd, it just barely touched like 58, 60 cents and then got completely rejected and flew all the way down the next few days till the 5th, where it literally on the 5th, it touched down to 37 cents for a second. And then that got all bought up and double leaderboard point event ended on the 4th. So it kind of makes sense to see the price fall. And now we're kind of here, right? We're going to be ranging between 40 cents and 50 cents, I'd say, probably for a little bit, unless we get another leaderboard point event. If we look at the daily RSI, right, it's ranging kind of in the middle of this range. This is a holding pattern for me. I don't usually like to do a whole lot of buying or selling, entering or exiting my positions when the RSI is looking like this. If we look at the daily MACD, it's in the green, but it's looking pretty tired, trending into the reds here. It's going light green and usually goes to red there for a bit. But if we look at last week, right, going into Wednesday, there was a big pump and then a little bit of red, and then we went back into the green. So we don't really know. It just seems a bit tired out right now. We'll have to see. Again, it kind of comes down to what kind of hype can Big Time build inside the game that could cause the token price to rise up. It's not a bad price right now, but I don't think there's a whole lot of buy pressure compared to earlier last week. I expect to see it range between 40 and 50 cents. But if it falls down below 44 cents, it might bounce off of 39 cents ish, but could go down to 36 cents pretty easily, guys. Next thing is next. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that Big Time would be hosting an AMA with someone from their dev team. We didn't know what format that would even be in, so we know now. It came out in their recent Medium article. There's a YouTube thing you can watch there, right? And it's an interview between Zach Rice, who is part of the community team, and Matt Tonks, who is the CTO of Big Time. And they go through a lot of stuff. I'm just going to break down what I thought was kind of important really quick. So here's some Cole's notes. Initial PvP will probably be player versus environment versus player. So you'll be like competing against other players to do something, to interact with the environment, loot things, collect things. And you still will be able to like do damage to the player, but that won't be the goal of the game. It won't be just kill each other. More optimization is coming, but it's not going to be fully polished for a while. They basically said like, yeah, we want it to work, be like 80% good, and we don't really care about the rest of those 20% because there's diminishing returns. It's harder to make the game 100% good than it is to make it 80% good, which is like, I kind of get that from a development side of things, but you know, we do see a lot of struggles with the game being laggy or things like that. So hopefully they still plan on improving it. Next is in-game chat is going to be better soon with patch point 3.0. I would say that pretty much all of this AMA focuses on patch point 3.0 and patch point 3.1. So, and that's going to be coming along with a lot of party features. And how the party finder is going to work is it'll be like an auto queuing system. So you'll be like, I want to play Big Time, and you go in and you say find me a party, and it'll just run in the background, and you can go do your own thing. You can run dungeons, do other stuff, and then once you have a party ready, it'll just say, do you want to join the party? And you say yes, and it'll take you into like a separate instance where you guys can all be. I don't know if it's going to find you a dungeon to run or what, but I think it'll be good. So that's something that's exciting to look forward to. to. Pets and mounts are coming, but not anytime soon. So probably not in patch 0.30, probably not in patch 0.31. Female character is coming in patch 0.30 most likely, but they might push it back to patch 0.31. Female character is coming soon, but they have a lot of work to do. The biggest blocker is that they have to remodel absolutely every single piece of armor and equipment, wearable equipment essentially, in the game to fit on a female body. So it's actually a lot of work, but they are apparently getting close to being finished that, so that's exciting. Epoch City is coming in patch 0.30. That's going to be awesome, and it's going to be coming along with a new first-time user experience, tutorial, solo experience, whatever you want to call it. So that's going to be pretty cool, and hopefully the tutorial is better. Ranged classes are coming, but not with any kind of concrete timeline. Something interesting they mentioned was that every new season in the game is going to be like a whole thing. Like they want it to be basically like a new season is like a totally different dimension or time frame. So the next season could be like in the future with guns and lasers and laser swords and stuff. The larger story arc of the game is going to be coming soon, but not until they get the core gameplay mechanics ironed out. Things like PvP really locked down, that kind of stuff. Their reasoning is that they're a small team and they can only get so much done, but they do have plans for it and building out the current quest system to just give more and more and more understanding about the game and who the bad people are. So that's kind of cool, I guess. We'll see it eventually, but not anytime in the next few patches. Overworld will be expanding with new biomes, but once again, not necessarily soon after Epoch City, they said. So it could be patch 0.31, could be longer. They said that you can kind of see off in the distance different biomes that already kind of half exist, and those will be accessible. So that's kind of interesting. And there are, oh yeah, they mentioned how big their dev team is. There's about 35 developers. That's not including like marketing and community and things like that, or open loot. Like they have different dev team for open loot. So that's just some interesting information. Voice chat won't be coming to big time anytime soon. They are pretty reluctant to add voice chat. It seems like something that they will inevitably end up doing, but they are worried about adding voice chat to the game because voice chat can be really toxic. You know, we've all seen those like crazy Call of Duty moments, things like that. But I do personally think voice chat in the game would be super awesome if they do it correctly. I would love to see like a proximity chat, but that, like, once again, that could get really toxic. So could be something like in party chat, you can add voice chat, or, you know, turn on your mic and people can choose to have voice chat working or not, type of a thing. But I mean, like, we do that with Discord now, so who knows? Something that was interesting is they said that since Big Time is a very international game, they're actually really keen to do something where they like have an auto translation tool in there. So like you can type in your native language and it'll auto translate to everyone else's native language. So that's something that they kind of have on the back burner working on as well. There's no concrete plans to make Big Time a multi-platform game. So Big Time won't be coming to Xbox or PlayStation anytime soon. But the main blocker for that is they just don't think that Xbox or PlayStation is very crypto friendly yet. You know, we do see there's like a Web3 game coming out to Xbox soonish. So maybe that'll change soon. Will Big Time be accessible on other launchers like Steam or Epic Games? Steam, probably not, just because Steam is really anti-crypto games. They've established that as like a boundary, so kind of hard to have a Web3 game like Big Time accessible through Steam. They think that maybe Epic Games Launcher might work, so if it sort of seems like it's going to work, they'll probably end up expanding onto Epic Games as well. And then professions like fishing, I don't know, blacksmithing, things like that, those are definitely coming for the game, but not here yet, and probably not coming anytime soon. There'll be new bosses coming in patch 0.31. You know, it's always good to have more dynamic bosses. They've been working on that. There's a couple bosses that are half decent, but a lot of the other boss experiences are just basically like kill a bunch of mobs, and so they're going to be improving that soonish. If you know about what the workshop collective bonus is, that is going to be coming in patch 0.30. It might be coming as like a patch on patch 0.30, like patch 0.301, you know what I mean? If you have like the same workshop in the same space, so you have like a large space and it's an Evermore space, and then you have another large space and it's an Evermore space, those workshops will have a bonus because they're the same space. It's things like that. Big Time as it is now is only 10% of the game, so we are playing a very small part of what they have intended for Big Time. So if you're ever wondering, yeah, like there's a lot more coming to this game. We'll just have to wait and see. There are a lot more plans to add utility to space. So I mentioned that there's professions coming. Maybe you'll need like a stove to do like cooking professions profession, and that would be set in your space. So they also are planning on adding something like a trading table, which is essentially just a way that you can sell in-game loot to other players, so like your own vendor. And they're also going to be adding rare variants to spaces. So like imagine having an exalted large space and it's actually like a whole biome, like waterfall or desert or things like that, or like mansions. So that's kind of cool. There's more stuff coming for spaces as well, but that's not going to be in patch 0.30.31. So that's kind of it for the AMA. Moving on, March the 1st, they reintroduced the Cosmetic High Roller Weekend event. This event has happened before. It started on the 1st and ended on the 4th. Throughout that event, players will get a bunch of bonuses. It takes 40% less mod chips to roll anything for any cosmetic. And they also added some new exclusive bonuses. I don't know if these bonuses are like for only during the event or if they just exist now. More to be figured out on that later, but 50% less big time was one of the bonuses, 50% faster crafting, 50% less cosmetic shards, and 100% extra XP. So those are kind of cool extra bonuses. But the real, like, the piece de la resistance, what we all love to see is they had a double leaderboard point. So this is super great. And I honestly didn't expect it because we had the lunar crafting event with double leaderboard points. Then we had the shield crafting event with double leaderboard points. So I was like, okay, like there's probably not going to be a double leaderboard point event this weekend. So, and I was bummed out because I didn't get to craft my epic shield or my legendary shield. So I threw on a craft for a legendary pair of pants and an epic chest piece like a day before this event went live. I have the worst luck with these events, man, and it's really starting to hit me where it hurts on the leaderboard points side of thing. I'm cursed. Didn't get any of the shields. Basically didn't get to participate in this double leaderboard point event. That same day is when Big Time announced that you can now craft decorations in your space. The decoration crafting is split up between your forge and your armory. So some recipes are on the forge, some are on your armory. Each craftable decoration requires a schematic of that same rarity, but the decorations don't have like a previous rarity craft. So you don't need 3 common rugs to craft 1 uncommon rug. So you don't need any previous rarity crafts to craft this. It just requires Big Time, your premium currencies, and a schematic that matches that rarity. There's a legendary cat decoration that I really want because it kind of reminds me of Penelope. So I'm going to be like, if I get a legendary schematic, I know I'm going to be crafting that for sure. So that's kind of cool. I'm excited about being able to craft decorations, especially because decorations have so much more utility now and they cost a lot more. All right, so next up, we've got the week 7 crafting challenges, guys. They're insane today. One is loot a decoration for 2,500 leaderboard points. You know, it's possible. Maybe you'll get it. The second thing is insane, though. The second thing, craft 1 legendary weapon and get 25,000 leaderboard points. That's awesome. That is so awesome. So I'm definitely trying to rush crafting a legendary staff. So I started crafting an epic staff during the double leaderboard event and then got another one already. So I just need one more. I might just literally buy an epic staff and then craft legendary this week. So that's what I'm rushing for. The third thing, open 2 mystery boxes, get 5,000 leaderboard points. I'm going to be grudgingly doing this because my mystery boxes are acting as decorations in my spaces right now. But I do think opening a couple of them up will help with the leaderboard points. Finally, guys, this is the final thing we're going to talk about. Yesterday is a Midweek Madness event. This one is a lot less of a middle finger to the players like last week's was. So I'm happy about that. There's 2 recipes you can craft. You pay 50% less cosmetic shards and get 50% more workshop bonus XP for crafting a Zweihänder and or a Onyx Throne Heads all the way up to epic. So if you are trying to craft a legendary weapon this week and you've already been crafting Zweihänders, this is a great way to cut down on the cost of crafting that legendary. Crafting epics for 50% less cosmetic shards, that's huge. So I'm not crafting any of these things, of course not, because like I was saying, I have the worst luck with these crafting events lately. I literally can't catch a break. So I'm not crafting any of these things and it's sad, but someone is. And if you are, you have like a day because this ends tomorrow on Thursday, March the 7th. Start some crafts to try and capitalize on this. That is it for What's New Wednesday, guys. If you guys are watching this in the future, make sure you throw down a like, a comment, a subscription, and as always, guys, make sure you tell your moms about it. I will see you guys next week for another episode of What's New Wednesday. Come by for the live stream if you want in the moment, up-to-date, super current event sort of coverage. And if you're watching this in the future, I will see you guys later.